stylistically, I wouldn't say they're my favorite kind. I do like the blues. Oh, my back. I do like, especially the blue heel. Let me pull it down a little bit. Surprisingly, these are actually big enough. I noticed with these socks, the first wear before rinsing them off, or at least wearing them for a while, the white underneath starts to come out, and then it seems to somehow conform afterwards. How or why that happens, not entirely sure. Yeah, but I like the blue toe. I like the blue heel. And this is actually kind of fun. Of course, and they're a little bit longer. Uh, more in more contemporary times, more recent times. It's been these are super cute. Um, it's been more common to have shorter socks, like the no shows and stuff. And of course, I think the no show came about because it became stylistic to because like a lot of people since I was a kid, like a lot of us just weren't wearing socks, and I think eventually it became popular as like not just among kids and adolescents and some young adults, but among uh, models, I think, or at least well, yeah, models of some capacity, I think, and then the public started gaining an interest. At least this is my from what I would understand, seems the way it happened, and then. But then, of course, not wearing socks with certain shoes, or even wearing like sheer socks or whatever. Like there's certain, what do you call them? What do you call them? Yeah, hosiery, even more like hosiery with like tennis shoes, but like hosiery with tennis shoes, certainly, and maybe certain other socks, and then, or just not wearing socks at all. Obviously, like there are hygienic reasons that people don't want to necessarily do that. And people wear like tights, like certain forms of tights with socks, the ones even the ones that cover the feet, they'll wear socks over it, like thicker socks. Why? Because hosiery and tights and or no socks all can create like a certain very strong, very distinct odor. Younger people are often not as aware of it, or they just don't care. But like, which yeah, to be fair, like if you're just among friends or family, a lot of those people aren't going to care. But when you're like in a work environment where it's like a professional setting, a lot of people are going to care. So, and it became popular among especially women, because a lot of times women will take these kind of like these fashion. A lot of times they will be involved at some capacity with these fashion statements. But yeah, again, there's the hygienic concern. And whether it's socially acceptable in some contexts or not, which it can be, like in a professional setting where the standard is every person who's come across, not just most or some, and people from different cultures, etc., and conflicting views on certain smells, it comes down to there's a level of uniformity that's needed, which is often the standard of what are the reasons that colognes and things are so helpful, because they're often more of a universally set standard based on that. So what was the solution? Things like no-show socks, and then of course putting like thicker socks over tights that covered the feet became more fashionable. I wouldn't be surprised if hosiery and tennis shoes eventually become accompanied by thick socks over top of those as well, socks on socks. And it's interesting. It's interesting because obviously there's a strong smell, and like but the fashion, it's like, well, visually everybody loves it, but like not everybody's happy with the odor results, and people came up with solutions, and over time you see it, and that's my analysis. But if you think I'm wrong, which I doubt most people would, you can tell me, but it's just interesting to see that kind of come forth and develop, I would say. And I was thinking about the stock market. I was thinking about the stock market as well, because obviously fashion is one of the things I think about. I was also thinking about the stock market. I'll talk about that in a second. And by the way, if you're a younger person, trust me, when it comes to the the acceptance, the desirability, etc., of certain like body odors, it's so relative. In the work environment, you want to mitigate any kind of bodily odors as much as possible, usually, because you're typically, at least in places like the United States, dealing with people from diverse backgrounds. But if you're in a more uniform culture like France or like the Philippines or Japan, or maybe like parts of Germany. When it comes to like what's acceptable and what's not, what's desirable, what's not, what's appreciative, what's not, what's wanted, what's unwanted. It's more uniform. In a place like the United States of America, it's good, I think, to be more just cautious in general. Cologne, deodorizers, etc. But in people are more uniform and things are more expected, and people eat the same food, people have the same biological or similar biological backgrounds. Maybe not so much Germany these days, but like a lot of places, like people are kind of used to the same things, and people have similar standards as to what is and isn't acceptable in terms of certain things. I don't think the kind of like odor controls in a lot of those places is necessarily as severe in the same way. But like, yeah, it's interesting when you think about it like culturally, because the United States is so diverse. People. It's very different. Another place that's a little bit more culturally diverse, where this kind of issue might arise, is like India. India, the United States. Places that have historically had heavy levels of human migration. Where like more nuanced, like common standards are a little bit more difficult to assess. I could probably talk about that for hours. I love cultural diversity, and I love. Oh wait, hold on. Did I get some people? What's up, Reese? Apt with that was something from the family, I believe. Got a notification. I wanted to make some quick gifts. I really was a butthole. A lot of people hate that I was a. I become a butthole all the time. I lose myself all the time, and then I fix it. And it's up to the other person to accept the apology. But this is the way I apologize. One of the ways I apologize is I give a portion of my deeper self. One of the most pivotal kinds of gifts that I can give is a piece of myself. So if I mess up big, I can give one of the most vulnerable parts of me, which is who I am, on one of the more deeper, fundamental levels, which is the kind of gift, even if it's just a note on a card. If I can't find the tape, I'll just move on. But it's one of the. Wow, I want to use duct tape. That would be a bit. We don't have clear tape. I know we had clear tape. I know I had found. I might have picked it up, put it somewhere, which is. I have double-sided tape here, which would actually look nicer, but it's supposed to look a little bit rugged, so this might not actually work to my liking, but whatever. But anyway, yeah, giving of your deeper self is sometimes very important. I'll switch back and forth real quick. How you doing, Dylan? Let me rewrite that real quick. I got 6 minutes before I gotta leave, so it means 3 minutes for us to be at the door. How much time do I have? I really don't have any time, so I'm going to have to just finish these as I go. Unfortunately, I don't think we have, realistically, any flipping tape. I'm going to throw that away. I don't have time for this. This is, try to do something nice for somebody. Oh, there's some flipping tape. Even the tape itself is getting annoying because it's just not coming off. But, you know what? 5 minutes late. Oh, come on, baby, come on. Come on, honey. Fudge. We're going to take that with us, and you know what we're going to do? You know what we're going to do. I really wish I had something better than this, but you know what? We work with what we have. That's all there is to it. Work what we have, and we do the best we can, right, guys? We do the best we can. Do we get a little frustrated sometimes? Sure. But you know what we do? We do the best we can, homies. Okay, so I'm going to throw... First of all, let me make sure I bring that with me so I can rate those during red lights. First of all, I don't know if it'll fill all 3 coffee cups. But 2.5 is a whole lot better than 1 or 2. I'll unplug that. I did spill that in the stove, but I think, yeah, I don't think anything got into the DNA burner, so we're fine. Okay, so well, I'm almost finished getting ready, and I probably will be 5 minutes late, but you know what, whatever the flapjacks, dude. I wouldn't have been late at all if I wasn't trying to do something nice, but it's always a give and take. And I'm not expecting to come back to this particular school unless unless there are like certain days where they're the only school during those hours that's available, which is one of the reasons I wanted to have a nice little send off. Hold on one second. Oh, Jack, I love you, baby. You have a good night, okay? Love you, buddy. No, you're okay. You're okay. I'm just a little stressed, buddy. You're not in any trouble. You're fine, honey. I'm just a little stressed. I can't find my golden keys, and I'm already about 2 minutes late. Which, oh, would you shut up, please? That clock. Sorry. That was mean. It's just that clock gets on my nerves. If it was a nice little cabin in the woods or something, and I was retired, I think one of those kind of clocks would actually be quite amusing. The last 12 years have been constant work, which is a blessing. It's a blessing to be able to constantly work. Not everybody has that option, period. But I'm not gonna lie, that clock does it to my nerves. They used to go off when I was doing university work, and it just gives me this anxiety. I hate that clock. In this environment. Outside of this environment, I would find to play music. That's kind of the thing. It's like everything's relative. Like for example, a good example of this. Like a day like today, where it's like all rainy and stuff. A lot of people say, "Oh, it's a terrible day." Blah 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 blah. No, I think these days are beautiful. I love rainy days. But like if I was, say, in a preschool class where we have time to go outside and enjoy the weather, those kind of environments. You say I had like or say I finally had a son or daughter, and they had a baseball game that day, and it rained. Yeah, it's like those environments. It oftentimes might not feel as fun. But even in those environments, let's see, 5 minutes late. Okay. Even in those environments, it would depend, because like you could transmutate that. Say I had a daughter, and let's say she had a softball game, and let's say we got there and they canceled like last minute once we got there. Well, and who knows, maybe my wife was also there, who knows, maybe I had a son who was also there, who knows. But in like that kind of environment, I would probably, especially, when kids or adolescents or young adults are involved, I would probably definitely try to make effort to make it into something better. Yeah, let's make this into our day where we get some food and take a hike under the leaves where there's not going to be as much rain, but we still got outside. You got all dressed up for, to get dirty. Well, we'll go hiking. We'll still get a little dirty. We'll go home. Take off our dirty clothes. Lay on the sofa, or sit in the sofa after a good meal out, and then, put some music on, and you can play your video games, and we just sit and dance with each other. That's another thing too. People don't really. A lot of people, I think, just don't really do presents, because presents isn't just something that's like a new age thing. Like it's something like a lot of us just grew up with. It's like people in like certain countries, like they just know to do that. You don't even have to tell a lot of people to do that. Like a lot of people just inherently know that you need that. You need that, period. It's just a common, like for a lot of people, it's just common knowledge. Like an inherent knowledge, like a knowledge that might not even manifest in words, but just like, that's the right thing to do. But for a lot of people, I've forgotten that. I hate doing that too, because the way the door is, and I know the person there doesn't like it, but I'm running so blooming late. I want to be like 10 minutes late. I'm gonna have to give them a call. Fiddlesticks. Oh, where's my grabber? Flapjacks and crackers. Come here, baby. There we go. Good. Yeah. Hi. There we go. I'll probably give him a call in a few minutes. Okay, we're less than 10 minutes late. I'll probably say 10 minutes over the phone just to be on the safer side. But yeah, it might be about 10 minutes late. And it would still be about 10 minutes, even if I'm earlier than that. Oh, fiddlesticks. Fiddlesticks. Yeah, working two jobs is kind of hard. Fridays, I think, are the worst, too, when it comes to this. You know, I always want to be nice, but a lot of people take nice in the wrong way. A lot of people take my nice to mean like I'm flirting, or that I'm trying to gain something, or this, or that. So, you know, I often like have just like reverted to just being mean to people. Because it's like, if I can't say something nice to you, it's like, well, how else am I supposed to communicate to you without being just blatantly mean to you? Sometimes, because like I'm often exhausted. It doesn't mean I'm angry, but I'm often exhausted. So it's like, if I can't say something nice to you, how will you know that I still love and care about you as a person in my, in my circle, and I just often end up reverting as being cruel. If I have no other options, or if I feel that I have no other options, because people so often will be like, you compliment somebody and they're like, oh yeah, thanks, and it's like, well then what? Like, and then of course those same people will be like, well, why does nobody say anything nice to me? It's like, honey, you don't let us be nice to you. Like, we want to be nice to you, but we can't. Like, we are stressed, so like there's a good chance we will normally be mean. So like we want to say something nice to mitigate the reality that when it comes mean, you'll still remember that we still care about you. But if you are going to go on this crusade of you cannot possibly be nice to me because everything you communicate non-verbally is I don't want you to be nice to me, then yeah, people aren't going to be nice to you. And of course, other people will see how you react to other people. So just because like, oh, I don't want that person to be nice to me, well, that's too bad, because then other people that you do want to be nice to you will see how you treat the people that you don't want to be nice, and then they'll potentially pick up on that and not be nice to you either. It's one of those things, like if anybody shows me kindness, I'm appreciative of it on some level, you know what I mean? And I try not to push it away in a harsh way, right? I can either be like, well, thank you, or I can be like, thank you for that. However I'm feeling in that moment, it could either be kind of neutral or excited, but I don't try to be like, oh, thanks, unless I'm doing it as an obvious joke. It doesn't always come out as obvious, but usually it does. People who know me know what I'm doing. So you know what I mean? Like, people who constantly push away when people are trying to be nice to them or help them, it's like you can't have it both ways. You can't push people away or try to be nice to you and then say, oh, we should be nice, and then push away people who are trying to help you and be like, oh, I need help. You can't refuse things and then be like, well, why don't I get those things? It's like an Asian person tries to give you $100 to help you with your bills, and you're like, I'm not going to take $100 from an Asian. And then a white person comes up and they're like, and she's like, or he or whatever, like, can I get $100 to help with my bills? And the white person's like, no, I saw how you treated the Asian. You know what I mean? It's like, and that's a bit of a crude example, but the reason the point I'm pointing out is, like, a lot of times people will stereotype against certain people, whether it's women or men. I don't like women, I don't like men, or whether it's like I don't like this kind of person, that kind of person, like whether it's Arabs or whatever. And then, but other people who aren't racist or sexist or whatever will see that kind of behavior and they'll be like, well, you didn't want this or that from those people. You know what? I relate to those people because I don't see us as being very different. We're all human. I see how you treated them. I am going to, as an egalitarian, as a believer in Yeshua, remember, Hashem doesn't show favoritism, does he? Or at least we could say that, at least in a sense, right? Or at least, at the very least, we could say that we're commanded not to show favoritism, right? And, when we see people who do, potentially show favoritism, well, we don't have to assume that they do. If we assume that they don't, So you just evaluate how does that person treat other people. Not how does this person treat this kind of person, that kind of person. No, just period. How do they treat people in general? If I see somebody treating a homeless person poorly, I'm going to presume that, no matter how wealthy I end up becoming, that there's a good chance they'll treat me like that. Period. I try to assume, or not even assume, but I try to place it in my mind that, like, if you treat certain people, or I want to come in with the preconceived notion that you're going to treat everybody with relative equality. I want to come in with that presumption. So if you're pushing certain people away for, like reasons that aren't good, then I'm going to, kind of... Anyway, sorry. I was getting a little heated. Racism and prejudice kind of make me a little heated, and I was kind of, obviously thinking about that. I didn't bring that with me. Son of a bitch. I just had it on me. The nice thing was I give them. Where did I put that? Did I leave it in the house? Oh, and I just dropped my coffee. Fudge! Come on. Yo. Oh, this didn't get any worse. Come on. Come on, baby. I'm sorry. I'm not angry at anybody, but I had a nice gift I was going to give to the teachers, and I don't know where I left it at the house. That was the whole point. I was running late, was to give them something nice. And I don't have it. I gotta pray. I gotta leave you guys go. Come on! There's coffee all over my floor. I don't even have time to clean it up. And the one nice thing I was going to do is someone who clearly undermined me, trying to make her day better, because clearly it was bad if she was treating me poorly, and now I don't even have that to give her. Tried to cheer somebody up who was going through a bad day, and now I don't have the option to do that because I left it at the house. I spent all that time yesterday on the very little free time I had to collect those things for her, and I was about to bring... Coffee all over my floor. I don't have time to clean it up. I don't have the resources to clean it up. One of those is time. I don't have a rag. I don't have anything to clean that up with. Now that floor is potentially going to be potentially damaged. And I really hate teaching at the school. I don't like the social environment here. It seems very nasty. I was trying to make it better by showing them good Christian values and trying to make the days a little happier. But now I can't do that. Fudge. Son of a biscuit, would you stop knocking over? The floor's gonna be drenched. Fudge, come on! Barely move. Let's take this car. I want my wife to do something to help me in my life. I'm working 2 jobs, paying all the bills. My wife is still asking for more money. My wife is still like, baby, please, just give me. I don't want. No, I don't. All I want, literally, is just, and I love you. I can't even get that from her. Or have a good day. I have to beg her to say have a good day back to me. That's. Very good at cooking. I'm very good at cleaning. I don't have the time for it, but once I
make enough money to... It's gotta be a good day regardless. It's just a Friday. No! Fudge! Fudge! I got one of my students a gift too, and I can't give it to him now. This might be my last day here. You know what, Fudge? I'm flipping double today. You know what? I'll come in sometime on my day off. I'll ask the office if they can give it to that child. If they don't want me to come on my days off, whatever. That'll be up to them whether or not they want to be part of Christ's kingdom. That'll be up to them in the end. I will extend. Oh well, I won't. I don't know how he does everything, but if he wants to work for me to make that extension, that will be their choice to make. I don't know. I have to be careful not to become proud. We can be vessels. We can be vessels for the works of God, but we cannot be the source of those works. Anything good from us, anything righteous from us doesn't come from us, it comes from above. And wife, if you are watching, for the love of all that is holy, I might not be the perfect husband, and I'm definitely not rich. I told you that before we got married, but baby, even if I'm late on the bills, I pay all the bills. I work 2 jobs. I'm trying to better our future. I got my master's. I'm working on my resume. I'm like 3 hours a week when I have that extra time. I'm trying. And you don't have to say I love you if you don't love me because I'm not rich and I don't give you enough attention because I'm working 2 jobs and I don't have the time to do so. But just to have a good day with me in the world, because even thinking about this, I'm on the verge of crying because it's just I don't it's hard. It's hard, baby. It's been a hard 15 years of always working constantly, and it's a blessing, but it's hard when the people you care about the most would rather hurt you than help you. And I'm so blessed to have found so many people who are willing to help me more than hurt me, whatever their reasons. But I'm just asking you, baby, to please help me and stop hurting me, because at the end of the day, I can do everything a woman can do. My grandmother was a feminist, and she showed me that, anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. My grandmother was a staunch feminist. She showed me that. She's my hero. She's the woman I look to more than anyone else in this world, other than Adonai, my God. And I'm not really under the illusion that men need women or women need men anymore. She largely taught me that. And whether you see that as good or bad, that is what I have learned from her. It's deep within my soul now, it feels like. So I don't need a woman. My grandmother never needed a man. But if there's a partner out there who's willing to give us love, we don't need that. We certainly want that. But if it's oh, well, I can cook and clean, or oh, I can give you lots of money, or whatever the case may be, it's it doesn't matter if there's no love there. It's well, I can make money. Oh, well, I can cook and clean. It's I can do all of that just like Grandma did. You probably could too if you put the effort in. It's not like it's impossible. And a lot of us are out here doing it. I cook my meals, I clean, when I can. My car's a mess right now. I haven't had time, but dear heavens, I just spilled a bunch of coffee in the back seat. But yeah, we're more than capable of these things. Not everybody does it. Not everybody wants to do it. But my grandmother did it. I'm doing it. I'm going to follow her example. Because I don't people like me and my grandma. We don't need a partner, but we do want someone to give us love and support. Just a little bit of love and support. It doesn't have to be a lot of people are oh, she'll like it if I just cook and clean. That's all I have to do. I can be nasty the rest of the time. Or she'll like it if I just pay the bills and I can be nastier the rest of the time. Blah blah. That's not how it works. We don't care how well you can cook or how much money you can provide if there's no love. If there's no love, it just if you can't extend love to a partner when they're going through a painful time, like when my grandmother died and I was crying and you hung up on the phone when I was trying to get comfort from you, or like when I was at my grandfather's house when he was on his deathbed and you accused me of cheating on you because you didn't know where I was on Google Maps, and I explained that I was with my dying grandfather, and you're like, you're a liar and a cheater. It's like, yeah, I can't deal with that. I can't deal with that. And I'm sorry I'm saying this publicly, but you know how painful that is. I don't think you know how painful that is. I don't know. I told one of my best friends, I tried to keep it a secret, but that's one of the most painful things I've ever experienced in my life. Trying to call somebody I care. I could have called anyone else and they would have stayed with me for a few minutes. Even people who would normally consider themselves my enemies, they would have stayed on the phone for a few minutes. I don't think you understand how painful it is, baby. Flies. Okay. Coffee spilled. I can't fix that. Not now. Maybe you don't have to be permanently damaged. What I can do is step back and prepare myself for the loving people I'm about to embrace. Oh wait, I probably put the bag in the car. It's probably laying there back there somewhere. I was trying so hard to make their lives better. I spent hours yesterday, and I only have about, well, not hours, I spent like 40 minutes, and I have, throughout my day, I'm running late because of it, I don't have anything to show for it. I'm about to cancel going in today. I'm so close to just canceling. I don't really feel the support from this school. And I was trying to support them, because if people don't support you, you can always show the... I can't. I don't think I can. I think I'll have to pull out today. I work hard to not get the support I need when I'm there. I'm debating it. Debating it so hard. Thinking about it. Still thinking about it. There was a school that I put my 2 weeks in when I was making really good money because of how they treated me there. So I'm really, really considering this. I have my master's degree. My options are pretty open. I'm considering calling out. I'm really considering doing that. Apparently, I wouldn't be the only person to do that last minute. Now, yeah, I'm thinking about it. No, honestly, yeah. Whatever, I was going to do something nice for them, but you know what, fudge it. Because, like, what happened to me wasn't nice. I do, that's what I do. I often make greater effort to do nice things for my enemies than I do for my friends. There's no reward in doing nice things for our friends, but there is a reward, potentially an eternal reward, for doing nice things for enemies. And that's not why I do it. It's not transactional. The real reason I do nice things for my enemies, I think, on some level at least, is because the person I love more than anyone else in this universe asked me to. But a new mitzvah I give to you: love your enemies. Pray for those who persecute you and use you. So, it's one of my most expensive wires in my bag too. I really hope I didn't put that in the car. I think I did. Around the street. Dude. I'm done. give me about $80,000 and I won't have to. Like, baby, I don't have the resources and the luxury to take off on Shabbat from things I need to do in life. And if you can give me the money to be able to afford that, fine. Some people don't have to work 7 days a week. I do, honey. People judge you before they even know you or your situation. Maybe I've gone hungry before. I was referred to being homeless before. And sure, I've been to 7 countries where money has been more kind to me, and resources that were there. Those were very brief periods of my life, and often when I went to Europe, that was after a lot of hard work and barely getting any sleep, and I'm back there again, doing the same thing again. And when I was at university, I've been doing the same thing basically for the last 15 years, one extent to another. It's just before I went to Ukraine, I was doing it even harder then. I was working really hard. It's going to be a good day. It is a good day. My body is so... Oh. My body's in pain. That's all it is. I gotta leave early too. I think I did. I left my uniform from my other job at the house. I wonder if I have enough PPTO to call off in there. They would hate if I called off Friday, but I don't think they give me a raise yet. In fact, that job I actually make about $1 less. So I was doing a favor for a friend when I changed departments. I make like $1 less than I did when I started there 2 years ago. Stickers, okay, I can't give the nice thing I wanted to give to the teachers, but I still have, oh my goodness, I still have the stickers. I'll ask the little boy if he'll take stickers to the squishies I got him. I don't think I'm back to the school, but I'll give him the stickers for sure. The other little girl, yeah, I gotta focus on those they're why I got to be my best self. I'm in a lot of pain, I gotta put on a smile, and pressure my body, and feeling better because it is a beautiful day. I love the smells, I love the day. I gotta make sure as much pain as my back is in, that I do the best day for them. Oh, it's all about them. It doesn't matter about the grown-ups. The grown-ups are grown up. They can suck it up. The kids, that's who I gotta have a good day for. By the way, wife, one of the reasons I'm getting so upset right now is because you were being nice to me, and I was, every time you're nice to me, because, maybe I think a big part of it is the Christian in me. I'm thinking, oh, I really, really, really hope that this means that, part of me is really okay, there's benefit of the doubt. Maybe you're actually being kind to me for the right reasons. then you're kind to me, and then you're asking me for money again. It's all transactional for you. I can't live this way. I can't live with a person who's only nice to me when they want something out of it. And if I had a child who did that, I'd probably punish them, or at least negative reinforcement. That's not the way we live our lives. That's it. You know, as true Christians, as true believers, we can't only do nice things for those people. We can't make it all transactional. It's not transactional. We have to do nice things for people who hate us. We have to do nice things for people who hurt us. It's not about a transaction. It's about being made in the image of the Almighty God of heaven and earth. That's it. It's about showing goodness for goodness' sake. That's it. That is it. That's literally all there is to it. And if you're only going to be nice to me when I have something to offer you, like money, or because you like my body and you want me to do something that makes you feel good physically, I've had some younger viewers, so I don't want to say what that is, but adult viewers should know when I say bedroom fun, you know what I mean. If it's just for bedroom fun or if it's for money, you can't be nice to me when you just want those things, baby. You have to be nice to me when I have nothing to offer you. And just because I offer that to others, I can't expect that either, because that would be transactional. I'm not expecting it. I'm just saying that this relationship just won't work. It can't be that way. With my master's and now, going back into pedagogy and teaching again and reconstructing my resume and looking potentially for a data science job, other things related to the job market, there is a heavy chance that in the next 5 years or so, I might be making $80,000 a year, especially since I already work 2 full-time jobs as it is. I show my determination and my willingness to work, and my intelligence is visible. But I don't even want you to think about that, because that's transactional as well. People can't be there with me at my worst. I don't want to be there for you, period, because I already know who you are at that point. It's not a transactional thing, it's I've seen who you really are. It's like if I see someone mistreating someone with autism or mistreating the homeless, I don't want to be that person's friend. Not because they treat me bad, they might treat me excellent. But if, I judge people based on how they treat those who they perceive as less than themselves. That's the hierarchy. That's how I judge others. I judge them how they perceive how they treat who they think are the weakest members of our society. That's how I judge other people. Not how they judge me. They judge who they perceive as the weakest. That's how I judge other people. Because if people treat those with mental and physical disabilities, the homeless, Arabs, Jews, blind people, East Asians, white people, men, women, whatever. If they're racist or this or that, blah, 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 sexist, I judge people on how you treat people you perceive to be less than you. And, I also judge based on who you think of. For me, no human being is greater or lesser than anybody else. We are all created in the image of Adonai. We all have inherent value. Period. There is a conscious being watching behind all of our eyes, behind all of our thoughts. Not all of those thoughts are even ours, but behind the thoughts, behind the mind, behind the body, behind any gender or race, age, anything, there is a conscious being watching there. And every conscious being has inherent emotionally, like I'm about to cry right now. If the only time you're gonna be nice to me is out of a transaction, I can't talk to you. Period. It's just too. It's just I have children and adolescents who rely on my emotional support. I can't have you ruin that. Those children are more important than you are. They're more important than I am in many respects. I'm not going to put their emotional well-being in jeopardy because you can't be nice to somebody just because. If you can't find it in your heart, then don't talk to me, wife. I'll just give you the money, and that'll be it. If you want a transactional relationship, I'll give you a transactional relationship, period. But I can't live in a transactional relationship, so I can't talk to you and get emotionally involved and be on the verge of crying just because you don't want to be nice to your husband who pays your bills and watch your house and who tells you how beautiful you are and how much he loves you and is willing to make love to you even when he doesn't want to make love. You're like, oh, you're being egotistical, oh, blah, 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 sacrifice, blah, 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 you're being all, no, really, I do sacrifice myself for others. That is in my nature as a Christian. That is who I am. That's the whole point. It's a sacrifice for those who don't deserve it, because none of us deserve it. That is the whole point. The point is to sacrifice for those who don't deserve it because none of us deserve it, period. That is the point. Reread the Gospels. Reread the letters. Reread the Torah. That is the point.